So I'm Natalia Dibba. I'm the Director of Global Initiatives, and I'm here to talk about making your UW Bothell experience global. And you might ask, why should I do that? Well, there's lots of reasons that some of which you've seen as part of the Office of Connected Learning, which Global Initiatives falls under as well. Having a global aspect to your education is a way to discover and connect with parts of your identity and your experiences that maybe you don't have a chance to do in regular classes. It's an opportunity to discover new interests or deepen existing interests, and it can lead to new opportunities in the form of jobs in graduate school, because some of the global experiences that we support students in allow you to develop skills that are highly marketable in the workplace today. So I want to start by giving you an example of one student's story. This is Naomi Johannes. She graduated from UW Bothell last year in community psychology, and she didn't necessarily start out at UW Bothell wanting to have a global experience, but she inched into it. And one of the key decisions that she made was to join the Global Scholars Program. And this is a year-long cohort-based program for students who are interested in global engagement. They are interested in questions of global citizenship, how that intersects with our identities, what are the ethics of global engagement, what are some of the power dynamics at play, and how do we deal with all of that. And the program also provides support for students to have global experiences, and that support is in both identifying opportunities and also financing them. So we have some funding available to scholars, and also we support scholars in pursuing scholarship opportunities. And Naomi joined the program and wanted to have a study abroad experience. Unfortunately, the pandemic thwarted her plans, so her initial goal of studying abroad in South Africa didn't happen, but we were able to create some virtual internship opportunities with community organizations in India. And Naomi was one of the students who signed up to try that out in 2020. So just a few months after the pandemic turned everything remote. And she was paired with an organization called Rubaru that advocates for the rights of LGBTQ plus community members, and especially youth in India. And her role was to put on some online events and to do some promotion via social media. On the right-hand side, you can see a poster that she created as part of her position. Interestingly, when she returned to UW Bothell after the summer for the next quarter, she started her role as a social justice organizer at UW Bothell, and she used a lot of the experiences that she gained from her internship to put on events for UW Bothell students. So she was building on the skill sets that she started developing in her virtual internship. She was also working with very diverse students from across campus from varied backgrounds. At the same time, she was also taking global health courses that were part of her minor and integrating some of the learning from the Global Scholars class, questioning global engagement and the ethics of that, and incorporating some of that questioning and analysis into her global health courses. She ended up applying to a graduate program in global health, or graduate programs, and she was accepted into a very prestigious program at the University of Pennsylvania, which is an Ivy League institution, and she's going to start that program next year. So I tell her story because it's interesting how the experiences built up over one another over time, and she was able to continue developing skills in various ways and connecting her learning from both UW Bothell classes and some of the outside experiences like her virtual internship in India. And this here's a quote from Naomi that says, "I've learned so much from not only my professors, but my peers. A diverse set of individuals can create such a dialogue that allows you to explore yourself and others on what it means to be a global citizen and understand others better, regardless if they hold a different perspective than you." So Global Scholars is one of the ways that you can deepen your engagement with the support of global initiatives. The other two opportunities that I want to highlight in this mini session today are courses at UW-Bothell that include a collaborative online international learning component that brings that global experience into your class. So in these COIL courses, UW-Bothell students connect with students in a different country as part of their regular class activities, and you complete shared assignments using online collaboration tools. And I'll show you an example of that in just a second. And then what I think most students know us for our support to pursue study abroad opportunities, and studying abroad is a way to fulfill some of your course requirements towards your UW degree in a different part of the world. And it can be through a program that's fully coordinated and organized by the UW. So it's essentially taking classes with UW professors just somewhere else out in the world, or it can be through a partner organization or a partner university that the UW has established relationships with. And there are options ranging from as short as 2 weeks, as long as a whole year abroad. And all of them guarantee that you can transfer UW credits towards your degree, and they're eligible for financial aid and for scholarships. For those watching this presentation this week, now is a really busy time and a time to take action if you would like to study abroad this summer or early fall. And that's actually a great way to meet some of your area of knowledge requirements, or even start meeting the requirements for your major. So this is an example of a COIL course that's in progress right now. This Discovery Core class is called Free Flow: Global Perspectives on Water. And in it, Professor Avery Shinneman is teaching about issues related to water and water shortages, access to water, water rights, ownership. But in doing that, talking about these issues both in our context in the Pacific Northwest, but also connecting with students and professionals in Mongolia, a totally different part of the world that is experiencing these same issues, but in their own context. So in the context of this UW-Bothell class, you as a student would be meeting students in Mongolia and hearing from professionals at the American Center for Mongolian Studies who are also doing research on water rights and the same topics that you're learning about. This is a great way to make connections with people that you might otherwise not come into contact with, learn about a different part of the world. And often the result in some of these courses is a project or a deliverable that you can then use for your portfolio to show as an example when you're applying for an internship or a job. Now I want to switch gears and talk a little bit more about upcoming study abroad opportunities, because I know a lot of students are interested in these. So featured here are 3 programs that are coming up for 2022. They are happening at different parts of summer break, summer A, summer B, or early fall, which is the time between the end of summer quarter and beginning of fall quarter. All of these are led by professors from UW-Bothell who are taking a group of UW students to a different part of the world to delve deeply into an interdisciplinary topic. And a lot of the learning that happens on these programs is a little bit different than the learning you might experience in your classes. It's learning by doing. So, instead of just learning about the politics of soccer in the theoretical sense, you're visiting stadiums that are some of the best known in Spain and in Europe and the world. You're meeting with coaches, you're meeting with players, you're meeting with people who maybe cover the politics of soccer as journalists. So it's a lot of experiential learning. Same with the program in Rome that's focused on art and art history. You're visiting a lot of churches and museums and then taking those experiences and interpreting them into your own creations of art. You will also be exposed to different forms of art, and it's a great way to fulfill some of those VLPA credits that you might have, as well as INS for the soccer program. The third option here is happens in early fall. Sorry, that should say 5 credits, not 12. And this program has a business focus. It's focused on the issue of corporate social responsibility and what that looks like in a different part of the world, in Southeast Asia and specifically Thailand. The professor, Jim Reinhold, has a ton of experience working in Thailand and Cambodia, and he takes students to visit different companies and organizations and learn firsthand how they are implementing policies of corporate social responsibility. This is just a tiny sliver of what's out there. If you want to study abroad this summer, there are many more options available by following the link here. Given where we are with COVID, traveling abroad may not be your cup of tea for right now. And one of the positive outcomes of the pandemic is that it has created opportunities for virtual engagement. So the internship that I mentioned that Naomi had was through this program that we created with a community partner in India called Prava. We call the program Hyphen the World to illustrate the connections that are formed between our two parts of the world and the participants on both sides, which are youth-based community organizations across India that focus on a variety of social issues, and students from the UW who are placed with these organizations to do a project that meets the needs that one of these organizations has. I've listed here some of the topics that previous participants have worked on: reproductive health, transgender rights, education for rural women, mental health, youth leadership. But there are many options that can be also tailored to students' interests if maybe it's not listed here. One of the neat aspects of this opportunity is that it's a global experience sort of in small bites. So one of the things that students have appreciated is that the time commitment is very much part-time. So you're spending 10 to 12 hours per week on your project and about another 2 to 3 hours on mentorship and reflection activities. So that allows you to still have a job here or take care of family or whatever your other responsibilities might be. And the application for this program is also open, and the priority application deadline will be on February 23rd. This is a summary of some of the upcoming deadlines that you may want to consider if you want to have a study abroad experience this year. And it's very encouraged for pre-major students. As I keep emphasizing, it is a great way to fulfill your areas of knowledge. It's also a great way to maybe discover some new interests that you didn't even know you had that might make you more motivated or more excited about your remaining path at UW-Bothell, your own journey. We have a blog where you can read about the experiences of previous study abroad participants, both who've gone in person and who've participated in the programs virtually. It's uwbglobal.blog, and I'll show that on the next slide as well. There's different ways to get connected with our department through the blog, through some social media, and we also have some helpful videos that previous students have created on our Global Initiatives YouTube channel. So that is the end, and I welcome any questions that you might have.